Hi guys, in this video we're going to learn how to do something called factor by grouping. I know that you do this in Math 2, so this should be a review, but just in case you've forgotten, I'm going to treat it as if you haven't seen this before when I teach the first couple of these, okay? So your first step when you factor by grouping is exactly what the name is. You're going to group. You're going to group the first two terms, and you're going to group the last two terms. And notice I included that plus sign in with that second grouping, okay? Then once you do that, you're going to see what the greatest common factor is for these two right here in this first grouping. Well, my greatest common factor here of 40 and 56 is 8. And my greatest common factor of x cubed and x squared, okay, they're both x's, so I put down the x. And then you take the smallest exponent. So of 3 and 2, the smaller number is 2. So that means these two have an 8x squared in common. Then 40 divided by 8 is 5. X cubed divided by x squared is x because you subtract those exponents. 3 minus 2 gives you 1. Plus 56 divided by 8 is 7. And x squared divided by x squared, that's 1. So I'm done with that side. Now I'm going to move to this one. Now I've got a plus sign there, so I'm going to put plus. And 25 and 35, the greatest common factor of those two numbers is 5. There's not an x in both places, so I can't take out an x. All right, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And I've still got that x there that I can't get rid of. Plus 35 divided by 5 is 7. Now I want you to notice something, and this needs to happen every time when you do factor by grouping. Notice that this and this are the same. What you get inside your parentheses needs to end up being the same. If it's not, you did something wrong. So once you have this, then you write down what's outside the parentheses, 8x squared plus 5, and you put that in a parenthesis by itself, and then you make this a parenthesis, 5x plus 7. And this would be your final answer. Let's consider another one. 3n cubed minus 8n squared and plus 21n minus 56. You group the first two and the last two. Okay, these two, 3 and 8. 3 and 8 have nothing in common, but they both have an n. And the smallest exponent on an n here is 2. So this is going to be n squared. All right, I've still got a 3, so I've got to put that 3 there. N cubed divided by n squared, that's n. Minus, because that's a minus. I've got to keep my 8, and n squared divided by n squared is 1. Okay? Now, if what happens over here is supposed to happen here, whatever I'm taking out here is going to leave me with 3n minus 8. Let's see if it does. So what do 21 and 56 have in common? Well, that is a positive 7. And the reason I put plus is because that's a plus there. Okay? All right, 21 divided by 7, that's 3. And I've got an n there, so I pull that n down. Minus 56 divided by 7, that's 8. Okay, it happened again. Look here. 3n minus 8, 3n minus 8. That's what you want to happen. So when that happens, you write down what's outside the parentheses, n squared plus 7, and then what is in the parentheses one time, 3n minus 8. And this is your answer. Okay, I'm going to work 11, and I'm going to leave 10 for you to try. So let me do 11. I'm going to group the first two and the last two. All right, 16 and 40 have an 8 in common. M cubed and m squared means I'm going to take out an m squared. That's my smallest exponent. Okay, now divide. 16 divided by 8 is 2. M cubed divided by m squared, that's m because 3 minus 2 is 1. Minus 40 divided by 8 is 5. And m squared divided by m squared is 1. Okay, then I bring down my plus sign. 22 and 55 The greatest common factor I can take out is 11. Okay, now I divide. 22 divided by 11 is 2. You've still got that m you have to pull down. And then it's minus 55 divided by 11 is 5. And notice we had it happen again. 2m minus 5, 2m minus 5. Okay, so I write what's outside the parentheses, 8m squared plus 11, and then the parenthesis they have in common, 2m minus 5. And this would be our final answer. Okay, pause the video and try this one, number 10, and then when you come back, I'll work it. Okay, hopefully you grouped the first two and the last two. These two, 7 and 3, have nothing in common, but I can take out an m squared. And that would leave me with 7m plus 1. Nope, 7m plus 3, because I've got a 3 there. So sorry. 7m plus 3. All right, plus 14 and 6 have a 2 in common, and that will also leave me with 7m plus 3. Now, if I had put 1 there, like I messed up, I would have realized it when I got here, and I would have found my mistake, because you remember you want these two to be the same. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, so we're going to write what's outside the parentheses, m squared plus 2, and then the parenthesis they have in common, 7m plus 3. And this would be your final answer. All right, if you have questions, let me know.